Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so season 31 has officially started and we have our first war of the season. It's New Nation against Kenobi. But before we get to the actual fights, and I do have some of the interesting ones, some of the tedious ones, some of you and quite a few of you probably already know, but I did test positive yesterday for COVID. That means that I have started my self-isolation period, and on top of that, I am feeling awesome. But that will actually kind of come into play later on as well, because obviously I have it. Anyways, we'll get to it. But yeah, me and my girlfriend both unfortunately tested positive. My girlfriend 2 days ago, and I did yesterday. So self-isolation, here we come. Either way, let's get to the fight. So I'm going to be using White Magneto, Thing, and Nimrod. I'm on path 2 for section 1, and these are the hit strike count, no, well, the Fury nodes. Again, the name slipped my mind. Strike counter, hit counter, Fury, something like that. But Thing is kind of like a cheat code for these nodes. He really, really is. Because once they get enough Furies, every single block, every single parry, every single contact with them will trigger the protection, and you basically never take any damage at all whatsoever, and it's quite easy to deal with these fights. Now, I do not unfortunately have Human Torch on my team, because I do believe that Human Torch was banned alongside Ghost and Kitty or Tiger, something like that. But either way, here we are, and again, we can see already at this point, every single time she touches my block, I, trigger the protection, and I take absolutely no damage, despite the fact that she has like 20 Furies. The key thing in this fight is never actually use your special attacks, because if you do get rid of the rock charges that you do have, then, even though you reduce the damage by a ton with protection, whatever's left over would still be enough to kind of knock you out. So you really don't want to be below 15 charges at pretty much any given point. And other than that, obviously there's not much to worry about. I don't really have any buffs to get nullified in the first place. And Thing is immune to nullify, and you can just finish off the fight fairly easily. So Thing is an absolute cheat code for this node. And so is he for this one. So it's strike counter, Fury, brute force, and obviously high ground though, because both Sorcerer Supreme and Green Goblin are high ground defenders, and that is quite annoying. And we're actually going to see that kind of come into play because of high ground, because of Green Goblin's healing. This fight's going to last forever. I don't even really want to kind of like show the full fight, because it did take a significant amount of time to finish this fight out. So we can see that, I do have 20 of my rock charges. I should be trying to do a better job getting Furies, but, it's not the most important thing. It's just, it would help me to finish out the fight slightly faster, but it wouldn't be making that big of a difference. Obviously, I do try to kind of keep on top of high ground, not to lose my combo. But you can see that the fight's going on and on and on, and on and on and on. And he's not really losing a lot of his health. And because of high ground, because that somehow does get around the protection, I'm still taking some block damage here. So we are like 2 minutes plus in this fight, and finally we did finish it out. So looking at the fights, it lasted 2 minutes and 3 seconds, and I had to do 100 hits in order to finish off that Green Goblin. He was a really piece of work. I always really, really dislike fighting against that guy. There's just something about his animation, something about his AI that I really don't like. So now I'm going to heal up my Thing a little bit, and I'm going to put on White Magneto's pre-fight on this Tigra, just so I can bypass Masochism healing. And now we're going to be going up against Thekiryu with the thing. And I am using my invulnerability boost like candy, just because I had several of them set to expire extremely shortly. And at this point, this is pretty much the third of the same fight. Now, this fight does have Masochism active, but obviously, since Thing doesn't really put any debuffs on the opponent, outside of special attacks at the very least, and I only try to, parry her, and that is a passive stun, so I never really trigger that Masochism to begin with. And only thing that I have to do is just, make sure she doesn't get to level 3 if I don't have a protection up. I think I should be able to, survive the level 3s as well if I have the protection on. I didn't quite want to push it, so here we are. Now, she does corner me, and I do get clapped at some point, but at the very least in this fight, I don't really need to worry about high ground, and that alone makes this fight like a lot easier, a lot more safe as well. And I do have 15 Furies active on me, and I don't want to kind of like, if I can help it, push her to level 3. So I'm just kind of playing it patient, safe. Obviously this Tiger does have maxed out Mystic Dispersion by the looks of it, but it's nothing too crazy, nothing too hard, because in this matchup, Thing is in fact pretty much immortal. There's not much Tiger can do to me, so armor ups are somewhat annoying in reducing the damage, but as long as I crit, it's all fine. So that was it for my section 1. Next set of fights is already going to be section 2. I actually went the wrong way, but then I remembered, luckily, we do have the undo button. That should serve as another kind of point that I was a bit out of it, because I was doing these fights quite drowsy. I don't know, quite... my head was not all in the order. I do have some fever, and obviously I do take some medications and stuff like that to manage all the COVID symptoms. Luckily, I do not have that ungodly cough that my poor girlfriend does have, but still, and I didn't think much of any of these fights. I was looking at Nimrod, mutants, should be easy work. Just need to get to level 2, basically. Drop that level 2, and the fight should pretty much be over. So I gained back more than a bar of power. I am just going to await the Storm's level 1, and, she's losing power at this point as well, and I'm just having quite good time in general here. Why not? She obviously does still glance sometimes, and high ground is a thing, but, this fight's pretty much over. Nothing too crazy here. Here I got a bit annoyed because of the 2% health remaining, but it's fine. And next fight is going to be super quick. Next fight's against Kitty Pryde, but obviously Nimrod is like the perfect counter for Kitty Pryde, so I wasn't too worried about this fight either. This is going to be like a ridiculously quick fight, to be honest. So here we go, Kitty Pryde, and I do stun her. I'm going to go in for a full 5-hit combo so I can get rid of that prowess, then hit her block. And at some point she's actually going to get to being able to phase, because I'm going to be a bit silly. And now at this point she got like 4 prowesses, and I should have went in there to punish that heavy attack. I didn't. I'm kind of playing it passively slow, but then I realized I had 10 charges and I can just drop my level 2. And that one level 2 just absolutely melted this. This was a beautiful level 2. So this is a rank 3 Nimrod. I do have medium level boosts active and 150% tech power boost, and that's about it. But let's see where we get to that level 2. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So she's at 74%. She's 74% health. And that Nimrod is just going to drop one level 2. And that's it. That's all she wrote. The fight's over. That is awesome. Now the problem fight starts here. I didn't realize that I had gotten quite drowsy, and this is going to be a tricky fight. I underestimated this fight 100%. First of all, I was meant to use White Magneto pre-fight ability. I was like, nah, we're good. Don't need it. I did. It would have made it easier. So I'm gonna, thankfully, I put in that health potion in the Nimrod, right? And now we're just gonna go and get it done. I still had the boost active. So this is Ebb and Flow, Intercept, Mighty Charge, and whatever, that armor break node. But here I make first mistake. I got clapped. He crits, unfortunately. That puts me at 76%. And, you know, I was thinking I'm just not gonna really bother intercepting. But one of the things that I did kind of forget is if high ground is active, then, you know, if you shock the opponent, then they do gain their charges more. And I lost my combo again just before 10. So at this point, I also didn't really pay attention to high ground, and he is at 2 charges, which obviously is not great for me. And then I still need to keep in mind that I need to play around the falter, and it's not really looking too great. You can see that every time I parry, I take quite a lot of damage, and I still didn't really want to go for those intercepts. And because I'm kind of drowsy, I was just an autopilot. I could have done so much better here just by switching, for instance, to the other phase where I would have 10 charges. Then I would get both benefits of Unstoppable and the shock on the opponent, you know, and I would be doing way more damage. And here I realized that, you know, one parry took away 5% of my health, and I'm definitely losing. I'm definitely losing this battle here. So here I went for level 1, which I, again, arguably maybe shouldn't have done. Should have probably just went for level 2 just because I had the power boost active. And now I do bait out this special, and I'm going to falter again. And at this point, he's at 4 charges. And somewhere around here, maybe not yet, but in a moment, I actually managed to kind of snap myself out of it. I actually kind of, in the fight, had to shake my own head a couple of times. I think at this point, because I got really scared that I'm going to get hit by that level 1. So I managed to kind of shake my own head and snap myself out of whatever kind of docile mindset I had. And then I realized that I'm at 16%. He's still dead. There's a ton of trouble. If Assassins is active, you know, then it's even worse for me. And I just went for it, and I finished it. And, you know, I kind of finished that fight a bit more aggressive than I should have. But I'm just kind of happy that I don't know if some of you guys have that. I have always had that when either I'm tired or sleepy, or, you know, a lot is on my mind. I'm doing the fight and I stop thinking about the fight, and I just kind of randomly go through the motions. And that is literally what happened. So I was very fortunate that I managed to kind of snap myself out of that state of mind, refocus myself, and, you know, finish out the fight well enough. Those are all the fights that I had to do. I did use a couple of my pre-fights for the mini-bosses to help my teammates out. This is the score currently, and, well, we are set to lose this war. It is very, very close, obviously, but unfortunately, we're going to be starting the season with a loss, because even if Kenobi does die one time, we are taking longer in the fight duration. That means that we would lose in the event of tie, because the fight duration is tiebreaker. So unless they die 2 times in next 6 fights, we have lost this one. And obviously, given that we don't die a single time. So it doesn't look like we're going to pull this one out. So we are going to be starting the season with a loss. But, you know, what you can do. Today, honestly, I'm just kind of knackered. I'm super relieved that I did not end up dying. And I'm just exhausted. So that's about it. Unfortunate start of the season, but it is what it is. Right. I hope you guys enjoyed the war video with Thing and Nimrod pretty much exclusively. Both of them are absolute beasts for Alliance War right now. Absolutely love using them. And yeah, I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the